reported yesterday that Zelensky admitted to having planned an attack on Russia for over a year and a half now. The glaring question was, what was US involvement in this attack? The White House has claimed it had no knowledge of the attack despite years of financial support flowing to Ukraine. So the question is, who did know? Well, an interesting visit happened this week. The official website of the gym outfit president of Ukraine announces that Senators Lindsey Graham and Richard Blumenthal were in Kyiv this last week, right before the attack on Russia. Another interesting tidbit, Nick Sautor has posted records from USASpending.gov showing a hotel accommodation contract at the International Business Center TOV based in Kyiv, totaling over $411,000 for the period June 1st until June 30th, 2025. So if the billions of your taxpayer dollars already sent over to Ukraine weren't bad enough, now we have an additional over $400,000 for hotel stays just for the month of June alone. Now, it's unclear who exactly is living it up in Ukraine from that contract, but we do know Lindsey is in Ukraine. We do know that he's been a huge fan of forever wars for as long as he's been alive, probably, and that he continues to stoke the fire. Well, now Steve Bannon has called for Graham's arrest. He's called for him to be jailed or stopped at the border for fueling war in Ukraine. Take a listen.
I don't understand how you could want to jail a U.S. senator because he's saying something you don't like. Because that sounds like the worst of the deep state.
No, it's absolutely what he's doing. What he's doing over there right now is stirring it up. He's giving the Ukrainians.
But it's not illegal.
He's giving the Ukrainians false hope. He's giving Ukrainians false hope that we're there to support them on engaging Russia in a kinetic conflict, and we are not. President Trump,
one of the central parts of
President Trump. Hey,
so maybe he's wrong. But what do you say? Throw him in jail.
Two things ought to happen. Either cancel his passport and don't let him back in the country, or put him in jail if he comes back. Lindsey Graham is stirring it up right now. And people better wake up to the fact that we're getting sucked into this war.
Now, while Steve Bannon calling for Graham's arrest and jailing may be extreme, at bare minimum, Lindsey Graham does have a lot to answer for in this particular situation and should be investigated. As it stands, the Trump administration is fighting tooth and nail to try to bring this conflict to an end. Negotiations for peace, discussions with both Ukraine and Russia in order to encourage the fighting and the killing to stop are in progress. And here we have Lindsey Graham and Senator Blumenthal in Ukraine just at the time that Ukraine launches an unprecedented, highly planned attack on Russia, essentially completely obliterating US peace talks and relations with Russia. There have been negotiations and discussions and peace talks to close this conflict out, and have been for some time now, but as we reported yesterday, so-called President Zelensky was bragging that they executed said attack that they've been planning for over a year and a half. So which one is it? Are we having talks for peace? Are we planning attacks? From what it seems like, both things could be true. However, the Trump administration has stated to not being aware of the latter, which means that clearly Zelensky cannot be trusted. What's clear is that this latest attack on Russia is definitely not in the best interests of world peace. Even if it is correct that they took out 30% of Russia's armaments, that leaves plenty in the stockpile to trigger literally worldwide destruction. Lindsey Graham, who is 69 years old and has no children, does not seem to be very concerned with our children's future. Finally, if the White House says they didn't know about the attack, and Lindsey Graham and Senator Blumenthal were in Ukraine in even close proximity to the timing of the attack, they should be investigated. If they aren't, it raises further questions about this attack. Plain and simple.